Google has a brand new vibe coding platform, and I know what you're thinking. What about Firebase Studio? Or building apps in AI Studio? Gemini CLI? This one is truly different than the others, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why it's different and 4 different really cool examples on how you can start using this tool right now to vibe code no-code apps. As always, I'll have a link in the description below, but you might get Opal is not available in your country yet. So we're going to connect to a VPN. And just like that, we now have access. And a quick reminder, subscribe, I cover AI on a daily basis. This is what it looks like when you first sign in, and I have actually played around with this a little bit. I actually deleted my Opal app so I can take you through the creation process. But if we scroll down, you can actually see a gallery of different ones that exist. So I'm going to click the blog post writer because I feel like this is a really good demonstration of what this app is useful for and how it's powerful. And you can use it for a lot of different things. We're going to take you in this video 4 different really cool use cases, but you can see here it is all drag and drop. So you can like say, hey, we're going to get a topic that we want to cover, and then we can write an outline and we can do research, and you can adjust the text on the right. So this is creating basically like mini AI applications. We can select the model we want it to use. So maybe we want it to use deep research instead of just Flash 2.5. We can have it generate images or use audio LM to generate speech from text. So there's a lot of different options that we can do here on the right, and we are basically just saying, hey, we can drag and drop these things together to piece it all together all the way to an output. So in this example here, we have a topic that we're getting. The topic is going to do some research, and the research is going to write an outline. And the outline is also going to get it from the research, so it's just, the outline is being built, and then from there it's going to write a post. It's also going to create a banner image, and then it's going to display both. So we can actually see the banner image here, given the outline. Imagine illustration, futuristic art that serves as a banner for the blog post reflecting its theme and concepts. So this little blog post writer remix is able to do a lot of different things. So we can see a preview of what it'll look like. We can see a console. So if we're starting our app and we get errors, we can actually see a console. We can see the step that we're on and the different information. So as we click through, you can see all the settings for the step. And then lastly, we can actually adjust the theme. So I'm going to just leave the theme as default. We're going to get more advanced as we go. There is also this little tab at the top called app or editor. So we're on editor now. This is what our app looks like. So we can hit start, and this is what our app actually looks like. So we have like this little prompt box down at the bottom. So I just zoomed in so you can see it a little bit better, but our prompt that we're going to put is AI in education. So that is the topic for our blog post, and it is doing research right now, and you can see it's researching AI in education. There's an overview, the historical perspectives, current opinions, controversies, future development, and then relevant web pages. And it's going to work on all the items at the same time. Here's the final output. We can actually see the blog title over here, When Robots Go to School, the AI Revolution in Education. We can see our image. It's a bunch of kids standing around a robot teacher. And we also have the output text for our blog post itself. I'm about to show you 4 examples, and I'm going to show you like the least impressive to the most impressive. And the examples are wild how good this application can be to build little mini apps to do things for you or to make your life easier, and you can actually share these apps out. And before I show you these 4 examples, I need you to click the subscribe button. I cover AI on a daily basis. We're going to click create new, and we can actually create these opals in a couple of different ways. So we can actually click up here like user input or generate or output or add assets, and then we can just drag and drop. We can also go down to the bottom here and use natural language to create the application that we want. So in our first example, I want like a really simple application that explains a topic like I'm 5. And you can see here just a quick little prompt, and it built this for us. So we can see here topic to explain. So you enter a topic to simplify, and then it says, here is our text. You're a friendly and imaginative storyteller tasked to simplify a complex topic for young children. And this little prompt here, the system prompt that we have, is going to run as soon as we enter a topic, and then it's going to generate a nice output of HTML. And you can see the theme. We can give it a title, so we can title it whatever we want. So our title of our app will be EILI5, and then just a simple topic. We can actually see our console like before I was saying. We can see the steps. What's really cool is when you're on the generate HTML output, we have options. So we can do like a manual layout, or we can do a web page automatic layout. We can even save our information to a Google Doc, a slide, or a sheet just automatically. So there's a lot of different options on how you use this application, and that's why I think it is really cool. So this is more like mini AI applications that are almost like AI wrappers, I guess, in a sense, versus Firebase or AI Studio that is made more to create web apps. Alright, simplify quantum computing. Here's our output, the magical toy box. Imagine you have a magical toy box. A normal computer is looking for one toy at a time. In your toy box, it's very good at finding the one thing, then next, then next, then next. And now we have the quantum difference. So the quantum computer is like a super duper magic toy box. Instead of the toy being just here or there, it can be here and there at the same time. It's like your toy can be in two places at once, or even spinning all around trying to decide where to be. And it goes on to tell us a little bit more information. So just, that quick, we've made an application to explain complex concepts down and make it really easy. Like I said before, we can actually hit share application, we can publish it, we can view share permissions, which is very standard across Google applications. It tells you, hey, do you want to share to public or whatever? Now we have a copy link, and we can just share this out with anyone to use our application. So they can just go to this link and they're going to see the visual editor of our application. What is cool as well is they can actually click Remix and they can build on top of our application. So imagine like open source collaboration, big community building these opals. We're going to create another opal, and this example here is a lot more complex. So this time around, we're saying, hey, we want to allow the user to enter a URL, and then it's going to generate 4 thumbnails for the video, or based off the video that the URL that they enter, and the thumbnail should be vibrant, eye-catching YouTube thumbnails that have a high click-through rate, and then add text to the thumbnail, 2 short words that are relevant to the video in a bold modern font, and one of them should be the hex color. Then I put in the red hex color I usually use for my thumbnails, and the other one is less important, and that one should be in white. And we can hit go, and it is going to generate the entire flow of our YouTube thumbnail generator. In the meantime, we're going to go to the channel, we're going to pick a video by random, we're going to copy the link address because we're going to need it when we put it into our opal. And we're going to come back, and we can actually see here we have our video URL. So we enter a video URL, then it's going to say, hey, you're an expert visual content creation, and it goes on, it tells it all the information it needs to create the video, or the thumbnail, sorry, and then it says here, actually generate the thumbnail. So this is just kind of generating the instructions for the thumbnail. This is where it's actually making it, and here is where we render the actual output. As before, we can adjust the theme, we can generate a theme, we can give it a name, so we can call this, we can go to our app and we can hit start and we can just try it out. So let's put in the URL for our video, let's just remove the timestamp, and we're going to hit submit, and it's going to generate the instructions for our images and then generate the images itself. And we'll be back as soon as it generates all 4 images, and I'll show you what the output is. Good or bad, you're going to see it. We have some good news and we have some bad news. You can see here it says generating thumbnail image instructions, and it seems to have frozen. We can actually see here it is going on for close to or approaching 1,500 seconds. So it's been going a while, and I was not satisfied with that, so I created another opal, and this time around I said for it to generate only a single image rather than 4, only do 1 thumbnail, and this is the thumbnail that it created. So it said AI sites, and it got the red, so I'm going to give it a point there. It got the white, 2 words, nice and simple, but the thumbnail kind of is terrible. I don't know if any of you would click this. Let me know in the comments below. This is for my Lovable or Bolt. If you're still using that, there's another vibe coding tool that I cover in that video that does really cool designs. But this one just kind of failed. I'm going to kind of let it go and we'll see how long it takes. But in the meantime, this is the thumbnail we got. The next example is this little prompt here. So I want to basically allow the user to enter a movie title, and then it's going to spit out a 4 bullet point summary of the movie. So we're not going to get some big massive long response. Let's see if we can actually get Opal to give us a very specific output. And you can see here it has our movie title. We're going to enter it in. It's going to research the movie. It's going to generate the summary, and then we have the output of our summary. So let's just give this one a try. We have the preview here. We can go preview console back and forth right here, or we can click app and we can title and all that kind of stuff. But let's just try this. So let's try Forrest Gump. We're going to hit next. It is researching the movie right now as we speak. And let's see if this one's quicker and works, because this one's at 1,638 seconds now. So anyway, let's see this go. It is researching. The console, honestly, okay, this one is a little bit better. So you can actually see it's like search the web. You can see it's made different calls to Gemini and it's going back and forth. And you can actually see the bullet point summary. It's actually got to the last step, so it's generating our HTML. This one will indeed work. Here it is. Here's our summary. Boom. And we have this icon here. Information unavailable. The system reported a quota exceeded error. Well, that's probably because you've been trying to generate this for 1,700 seconds. Hey, don't tell Google, but I just switched Gmail accounts so I can keep going and try again. Go again. Hopefully you work. And it's currently working on using the search web tool to find the plot, summary, and character information for the movie Forrest Gump. So interesting enough, I use the same exact prompt to build the entire Opal overview, and this one's actually telling you what it's currently working on. So it is a lot better. It tells you, hey, it's using the web page tool to find detailed information about the plot, characters, and key events. So I don't know what changed. Let's just go to the editor real quick. So you can actually see here, does it say anything? It says the following input. It doesn't really, I don't know, it looks the same. I don't know why it works better, and it is better, but nonetheless, it is better now. And maybe that's because it was still using all the tokens trying to generate our 4-image summary. And some say that those 4 images are still being generated somewhere on the Google Cloud. We can see here, it is almost done. We can see the little progress bar around the top. It is like 75% of the way through, and it is generating a bullet point summary. Is it able to actually make the output exactly what we want, or will it just do whatever it wants to begin with? Oh, wait. Quota exceed. Does it know? I think they're onto us. The research results cannot be processed. The provided data contain API error message and lacked essential information such as key plot points, character details, or important events. Really, Gemini, you don't say. Let's try the same prompt in Gemini itself, and look at this. Wow, that was really quick and it worked. Good, bad, you always get the raw information here. Let's try one other example that I came up with that would be really cool if it worked. Prompt the AI to research the latest trends and advancements in medical science. It will then create a 200-character tweet and generate a short, catchy video that explains what's new. I want them to use the same influencer profile, a 24-year-old female, and I wanted to combine it all into one output for HTML. So we can hit submit, and this one should look kind of like the blog one where there's like a bunch of different boxes, because the flow of the information, I want it to generate a video, which we haven't attempted yet. It can actually use VO to generate videos. We can use Imagen to generate images, and then Gemini to integrate with text. So there's a lot that we can do with this, and I feel like we are in the early stages. So this tool came out just yesterday, and it's one of two things. Either it's like really early beta, or it says experimental like right up here. So it's either like experimental beta that's failing, or the servers are overloaded, and that's why we are getting the errors that we are, because Gemini itself works a lot better at returning the results. But nonetheless, I think if they get this right, just from like a drag and drop aspect where we can just click, generate and user input and add this output, and let's add some assets and just kind of connect it all really quickly, I think the potential is there, and it is huge if it works. That's a big if. If they can get the pieces that they already have working independently, working together, we'd have a really cool app. And you can see here, it's just kind of like spinning, and oh, there we go. Okay, so we can see here, it's going to research our query, and it says, here's our task. It's going to start researching, and it's going to start directly with the output. So it took a second, but we can see it here, and it says generate a research query. So it's going to generate and research. It's going to look at medical trends, and it's going to search. And then from there, it's going to create a video prompt here. And then also it's going to create an influencer tweet based off the trend that it finds. So the one trend links to a tweet, and it also links to a video prompt. Then it's going to generate a actual video, and it's going to output to a web page. So let's just give this one a try now, and I don't have high hopes after the last attempt, but I think this is a really cool output if it works, and we'll see how long I will leave this one running if we can get any type of output. So it says research medical trends. Let's just kind of go back to the editor for a second in console, and we can see all the different things. So it's like searching the web right now, the latest trends and advancements in medical, and it shows you these search links that it finds. And you can see it's artificial intelligence and machine learning and different remote cares and blockchains and stuff like that. So it actually shows us that it has searched the web successfully, and this is the whole entire thing. So we can see what it's doing along the way, and it seems to be actually working. So I am hopeful that we are able to get a tweet and a video, and we'll be back when you can see the results. Well, here is our output. Medical trend not found and provided research summary. And here is the output. We got this nice video here in a language I do not understand. Listen, and if you know the language, leave a comment down below. So my guess is something to do with like sleep scores and sleeping. There's some sort of advancement in sleep, even though it says medical trend not found. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. I find a lot of the problems with Google Opal right now are limitations with API calls and exceeding quota without it actually telling you. So instead it's going to attempt to generate and it's going to fail, but it's not going to tell you it failed until it's finished generating, instead of just like stopping you. And honestly, like somewhere along the top, it should say, hey, here's your quota for the day, and you're reaching your quota. You can only do X amount, or you can do whatever the quota is. So I think just like these little tweaks here and there would make it a lot better. I think a lot of the issues are quota related, like the research summary one, for example, because I was digging through the editor, and I'll show you. It is able to search the web here, and it goes through the entire process. It searches the entire web, and if I just scroll down right away, you're going to see eventually it's going to say, hey, we reached the limits of what we can do. So we can't actually do any more than what you're asking for. And here we go. You exceeded your current quota. Please check your plan and billing for more details. So that's what I'm saying. I think just a little thing at the top would make this a lot more useful. Also, while on the topic, we have user input, so we can actually like put it here, and I was talking about this earlier on in the video, so we can like just drag and drop. We can type up our own prompt here, we can do an @ symbol, and we can like search the web, search maps, get weather. There's all this different information we can do to make our application flow from one to the next. So we can like search the web for latest tech, for example, and then we can say, hey, we want to generate something, so we can put the generation button here, link the two, and then it's going to use the information from the web, and then it's going to generate a summary. And then we can output and say, okay, what do we want our output to be? And we can say a manual layout or whatever. Let's just say a web page. And boom, just like that, we have a little application that we built ourselves. We can add an asset, we can upload drawings, text, all sorts of stuff, and just like keep our thing going infinitely from one to the next. And we can keep linking. It is very quick to make, but unless they show you the quota and show you the API calls, this application isn't fantastic, isn't great, because you're always going to run into that limitation. And I think the other problem is there's like no way to delete these little boxes. So you can like link them to multiple stuff, which is cool, but you can't delete them. There's no place to remove them, because this seems to be like an infinite canvas. So a really cool app where it is in the early stages. It is definitely experimental, and I think the potential is huge. The potential's there, being able to create little mini AI applications that will just work, and then you can just share them out with other people and they can use your mini AI application. But I think until they fix some of the bugs, I think it's always going to have this limitation of making you have this false hope that it is working, and they need to fix that. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Have you used this yet? Have any cool ideas that you want to create in Opal with? And I mean, unless it works and it gets better, I don't see anyone using this, but I thought I'd cover it anyway, give you my full honest thoughts, my honest opinion. And honestly, if you watch this long, chances are you really enjoy my content in the channel. My apologies for the title and the thumbnail. YouTube is kind of terrible in that regard. You kind of need that in order to get the algorithm to actually look at your video at all. My apologies, I hate it myself. And if you guys enjoy AI content, don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Cover AI on a daily basis. Don't forget to like the video. It tells the algorithm you enjoy this type of content and you want to see more of of it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow with another AI video.
Videos, news, and stories to share. Thousands are waiting in the hall right there. AI tools, AI news, AI prompts you can use. It's all for free, just come and see at FranklinAI.com, where you're meant to be.